Didn't. All right, hey, so I'm jumping on here real quick to do a year in review for 2025. It is January 2026. It's a booming 24 degrees out. I came out for a quick hike because I like to hike and vlog. I feel like I can talk to the camera better than what I do when I'm just trying to do it in a setting with like a staged studio setting. That's not me. So I wanted to come out for a quick hike. This is a hike I do quite often. But yeah, so the 2025, man, I learned a lot. I started off doing a blog on my website, which I wouldn't mind going back to, but I learned doing this blog that I would spend maybe 10 hours a week writing, editing, putting pictures in it, finding pictures from past different adventures, because that's how I would get these vlog ideas, or blog ideas would be, I would use content from past trips, which I have done tons of things, so that was easy to do, and then write about them. Well, I found out that in my analytics that no one was really reading my content. They were going in, I could see they were clicking on all the pictures. Look at this view. Anyways, they were going in, clicking my pictures, spending about a minute on average. So a 10-minute read, I would have people that spent maybe 1 to 2 minutes. And so I guess I realized that maybe the blog content isn't what people are looking for. So on top of the blog, I started doing a few YouTube videos. I did a couple how-tos, you know, how to pack a backpack, how to pick a backpack. I mean, stuff I'm familiar with, because stuff I like. I'm a gear guy, so I like gear. And I wanted to help people, you know, that are new or for years, you know, learn how I do it. Not necessarily saying I'm an expert, but I wanted to do some gear reviews, and that led me into YouTube. So I started doing YouTube, and it didn't kick off fast. I mean, I don't think anyone's YouTube kicks off super fast, but first couple videos got like 60 views. Then my how-to videos on backpacking and packing a pack got 100 views. That's a big deal, I'll tell you what. Then I started making some hiking videos, winter hiking videos, similar to this, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I put the camera here and there like I saw people do on YouTube. I wasn't really thinking that people liked to see somebody on camera, like their face, not just them walking by the camera. So those didn't get a ton of views. My how-tos did, so I went back to a couple more how-tos, got some decent views on that. But I started learning that, man, I think maybe this YouTube thing might be a better deal than doing these blogs and, you know, trying to spend hours and hours trying to make a creative article that no one reads. So at that point, I jumped full into YouTube. And so I've been doing that since. So in Michigan, when it doesn't snow, it's crappy and brown and gross. Hikes like this are awesome. It's beautiful. There's snow all over the trees. And this isn't really bad at all because there's hardly any snow, just a little dusting. But if you don't have a snow-filled, you know, scene, it's not really super cinematic. But so yeah, that leads me to my point. I did a few videos in the winter. That didn't get much traction. I ended up, we went down to Florida. I got a new camera. I got one of those fancy 360 cameras. We went down to Florida for spring break. And that was when I first got some traction in this whole YouTube journey. I hit 5,000 views in one of my videos of Crystal Springs. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so I learned how to edit videos a little better. add music. Music's a big deal if you're watching it with sound. A lot of people watch with no sound. But yeah, so spring break, and then come back from spring break and Michigan gets nicer. So I made a few videos on riding motorcycle and that learning curve of how and where to place your camera and how to edit the footage. Yeah, so after spring break, we get back from Florida and did some pretty awesome videos down there, some kayaking and a couple hikes. Then we get back to Michigan, the weather's broke a little bit, did a couple videos on motorcycles. Learning how to edit that stuff was interesting, so I figured that out. And then I bought a new motorcycle, not new, but used, and man, that made things much easier. Summer hit, I was able to take 2 up easier than my smaller bike I had. I really wanted to go on a camping trip with the bike, but that just wasn't in the cards this year. But yeah, I ended up doing a couple videos. 4th of July, I drove down to Detroit to meet Stacy. She was down there visiting family. I drove down there and did a video, got a lot of likes on that, a lot of good feedback. So I'd like to do more of that, but it's like a adventure style and showcasing some of the small towns I drove through. So I took all back roads. Then I did a couple camping trips this summer, which I love camping. I'd love to just flood my channel with camping and hiking videos, but yeah. So then end of summer comes, we have this awesome trip planned to Florida, do a whole bunch more hiking and kayaking and I mean, I know Florida in the summer, it's hot as all heck, but we were gonna do, there's a ton of outdoor stuff in Florida, had it all planned out, and then Stacy's work came up with this new project that took her away. She was down there for a whole day. So yeah, so Isaac and I and Latham got to hang out, and we did a bunch of adventures, some day trips all over Florida, got to see some cool snorkeling areas, because we really were in search of some clear snorkeling water, because both the boys wanted to snorkel because they discovered they love it. So that was my first series of Florida adventures in the summer. You can check that out. I'll have a link in the bottom for that playlist. Yeah, so after the summer, Stacy got sucked away to this project at work. But the good thing about that project at work is she got to travel a bunch, and they saw that she was traveling for 2 months away from home, and said that she could take me on a couple of trips. So we went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Just went hiking in the White Mountains. That was pretty awesome. Did a tour around Portsmouth. I learned that at least maybe my channel, people don't seem to care about the biking tours. Maybe I just haven't seen the right audience for it yet, but yeah, I got hardly any views on that. But White Mountains, we hiked the top of Mount Washington. That was pretty awesome. And then I came back for like 4 days and met Stacy in Italy. And we spent a week in Stabio, Switzerland. So her and I, the first day we got there, drove around. We drove around some small towns and then drove to the mountains to our hotel in Switzerland, which was pretty cool. Just awesome driving. And then when we got up the next day and we drove to the town of Mirren, we got to see some cows come down from the alpine villages, which was really awesome. And I have a video on that. That's just cool, and a short. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. We did this amazing hike, which I'm like obsessed with now. It's called the Via Ferrata. I have a video. I'm going to be making a video just on the video via Ferrata, but if you check out day 1 of our Swiss trip, it highlights that in it at one point at the end. But yeah, those are amazing. I can't wait to do more. And then we went to Venice for a day. Again, that's another city walk that didn't seem to get hardly any views. So I'm learning that either I need to edit them better or people just don't want to see that content. Day 3 in Europe, Switzerland, was Monday. So Stacy had to work. I took her to work, dropped her off in the morning, and then I headed off into the mountains. Found this really awesome lake. Interesting part about that lake was I had to go on to the Swiss Army's website and ensure that they weren't shooting or doing training, which that's kind of interesting. The whole area was a Swiss Army training area. So checked it out, they weren't there. So I decided to go on this hike. It was around this lake. I can't pronounce it. You want to check out the hike, I have it in my playlist. It's day 3 of the Swiss adventures. But I hike around this beautiful turquoise lake, and it's just amazing. I've seen some cool lakes like that in Banff, and I can't wait to go back there. But this was pretty awesome. I wish Stacy could have came with me to enjoy it. It was an awesome. It was, I think, 7-mile hike, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, this trip to Switzerland and Italy was just amazing. I ended up again Tuesday dropping Stacy off, and I headed out to the mountains again. This time I went just on the other side of from our hotel. You can see down in the valley there was a really cool looking church, and I looked on All Trails, and All Trails had a hike that went up behind the church and then had this really awesome view down from the mountain onto the church. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. I decided, look at a squirrel running over there. Decided I did do this hike. Nothing in anywhere on All Trails said anything about stairs. So I was surprised when I get there and I find, oh, a flight of stairs going up, big deal, you know, right? And then then finding another set of stairs and another set of stairs. I don't know how many stairs there were, but it was a lot. And not a big deal. I work out a lot, so I hike a lot. So the stairs weren't a big deal. It just was very surprising, and there was a ton of them. But yeah, so I got did this cool hike from this little town and the cool church. Got some awesome views of that. My YouTube blew up on those 2 last hikes, the lake and the church hike. Then Wednesday, I believe I took a no hike day. I had to find a place to do laundry, which wasn't an adventure itself. Note to self, note to anyone out there, in Europe, laundry mats aren't really a thing. You drop your clothes off, for an obscene amount of money, they will clean them for you. And so I drove all around town trying to find a laundromat, and I found one, but I didn't have any coins. No way of getting coins. But anyways, so yeah, then I found out that the hotel had a laundry service for, again, an obscene amount. But anyways, so the next day I dropped Stacy off at work, and I go to find this waterfall hike in the middle of Switzerland, which I have to say was an awesome waterfall. The hike was okay. You can see in the video and the playlist that it was a fun hike in its mind. It just wasn't really a hike per se. I mean, it was mostly pavement. I did at the end find a really cool back route that I think All Trails should change their mapping to that route, because you can take that pretty much the whole ways, the same ways I took the paved route. But I did get to see a really cool some really cool water. Like I don't know, that seems really silly to say. I did get to the river coming from the waterfall was just this beautiful turquoise clear water. So that was really awesome. And I got to follow that the whole way to the waterfall. So, and I got to see a cool little village that was destroyed by not an avalanche, a flood. So such a pretty hike. All right, then I had to, last day, I don't remember what we had going on. I had to do some cleanup on some like chores. You know, you have chores anywhere you go, even if it's on a vacation, you have chores. But so I had half a day to do a hike. So I did a hike from the hotel, which ended up being probably the hardest hike I did the whole time there. There was pretty much straight up a mountain, no switchbacks, nothing, which is interesting because most of the hiking you do has switchbacks. I heard Japan is like that, but they don't have any switchbacks. But yeah, this hike had like hardly any switchbacks, so it was like straight up a mountain, and some of it was like via Ferrata style, where I should have had gear, but it's such a small trail or lightly traveled trail that there wasn't any wording on that on all trails. But actually, it wasn't even on all trails. Take that back. It was a mountain bike trail from the hotel that took you to the top of the mountain to oversee and overlook Italy and Switzerland, and then Lake Lugano. Lake Lugano. So it was an awesome hike. I did, however, get stung by a bee halfway up. So I got back from Italy, and Stacy had to go off to Singapore and to China, Shanghai for a couple different things with this big project. But anyways, when she finally got back in the US, we took a quick trip to Manistee National Park, Manistee National Forest, and it did a truck camping trip. So if you want to check that out, I have a video on that as well. That is doing pretty well. That is definitely was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do more not backpacking. I want to do more backpacking too, but more truck camping trips. And of course, while Stacy was gone in China, I did a video. I'm still editing it for actually the hike I'm doing right now, but in the fall with all kinds of falling leaves. It was really beautiful. I just haven't had time to edit it and get it out. I probably could have edited it today, but I wanted to get out while the weather's somewhat nice and there's snow on the trees and it's pretty. But yeah, then so I guess what I want to, all this yakking about the different videos I made. My final thoughts for 2025 are I'm glad I learned a whole bunch. I learned a lot of video editing. I learned a lot about music editing. I learned that spending time on creative writing right now is not a thing. I wouldn't mind getting into some more photography over 2026, but I definitely learned that I am loving this video and blogging thing. It gets me out. I learned that I am much more comfortable doing this vlogging style on a hiking trail than I am sitting in the studio. I can see how I can use that to my advantage. But yeah, look at this. I'm outside, it's beautiful. It just snowed last night, so yeah, I can't wait to hit the trail running, or the ground running, however you want to say that, for 2026. I appreciate everyone that watches, and I hope to see you all on the trail.